Did the state of Mississippi actually have a queen? Well, the answer to that is yes and no. For this week's wrestling legend, we honor the Mississippi Queen, Queen of the Roma, that is, Miss Kelly Mitchell. Hi, and welcome back to Mississippi Mourning, our Wrestling Legends series. If you're new here, hi, and welcome. I am your host, Erin Lee. For this week's wrestling legend, we honor Miss Kelly Mitchell, the Queen of the Roma. To honor this week's wrestling legend, we traveled to Meridian, Mississippi. Meridian is located in Lauderdale County and is known as the Queen City for several reasons. Meridian earned the name Queen City due to its historical significance as a railroad hub. It had a huge role in the cotton and timber industries, and it was the largest city between 1890 and 1930. And finally, it is linked to the final resting place of the North American Queen of the Roma. Kelly Mitchell, who also was known as Kelly Mitchell, was born in 1868 in Brazil to a native Brazilian mother, and her mother had married into the Romani family. Now, if you don't know about the Romani people, they were sometimes back in the day they were referred to as gypsies. Now that's deemed offensive. But the Romani people, they were kind of wanderers, and they migrated from Europe to South America, and they eventually made their way to the United States. Now, when Kelly moved to the United States, she met and married Emil Mitchell, who had become king of the Roma in 1909 after the death of his father. Now, just to be clear, many experts say that the Roma people do not recognize royalty and they really don't have a king and a queen per se, but they have different clans, and the ones that they choose to be their king or queen are the leaders of their clan. In January of 1915, the Romani clan that were camping in Catawba, Alabama, were in a state of panic. Their queen was dying. She was in childbirth without the aid of a doctor, which was custom at the time, but it would have been her 15th birth, and her health was failing. In an unprecedented move, her husband, King Emil Mitchell, sent for the town physician, Dr. Forrest Lee Hester, and he offered him $10,000 if he could just save his queen's life. But despite all attempts, she died at the age of 47 on January 31st of 1915. Now, some of you may be wondering, if she died in Catawba, Alabama, how did she come to rest in Meridian? And due to her important role and her huge influence on the Romani culture, her body had to be preserved on ice for about 6 weeks to allow for all the Romani clans from all across the southeast and all across the country, for that matter, to gather for her funeral. The only place that had the proper funeral facilities that included refrigeration to preserve the body that long was in Meridian at the Horace C. Smith Undertaking Company. It's now known as Webb Funeral Home. Now here's where it gets interesting. According to a 1915 article in the Meridian Dispatch, her funeral wasn't just large. It was what would warrant the term ginormous, with as many as 20,000 Romani people showing up at the ceremony. It is believed to be the largest funeral ever in the history of Meridian. They were camped out everywhere in Meridian, from church lawns to parking lots to schools, anywhere they could squeeze in. And the funeral took place at the St. Paul's Episcopal Church. It was a very small church that didn't even fit a fraction of the funeral goers, so some of them just had to gather around outside. They had a college band that played the funeral marching song, and all the Romani people, it was more like a celebration of life more so than a funeral. While some reports are contradictory, there was at least 4 bands of Romani people that made their way into the southeast Mississippi. The Mitchell clan, the Marks, Bembo, and the Costello clans. And her burial site is at the Rose Hill Cemetery, which has become a major cultural landmark. Thousands upon thousands visit her grave annually. And of course, over time, there's been various myths that have emerged, surrounding her death and her burial. One of the most persistent rumors is that she was buried in a gold coffin, which prompted multiple grave robbing attempts. But her grave has become a shrine that is covered in gifts, Mardi Gras beads, and other trinkets that are left by people. I was amazed at everything that was left on the grave. But, the legend has it that if you leave an offering that it will entice Mitchell's spirit to visit you in a dream, and then she'll provide the answers to all your problems. I'm going to admit, I left a trinket for her as well, mostly for honor and remembrance. And despite the many stereotypes that are often associated with the Romani people, many of the Romani beliefs and superstitions are still alive and well today. Like, for instance, never wash your blanket in May, hang a horseshoe over your door, plant lavender for luck, and knock on wood. The Rose Hill Cemetery has become one of the main burial grounds for the Romani people here in the southeast United States, with many other notable figures from their culture, including her husband and her successor, Flora, who are also buried here. This week we honor an American legend and our Mississippi Queen. She was celebrated as a leader and whose legacy stands as a testament to her resilience and her cultural identity. Her story remains part of the local history here in Meridian, and the myths surrounding her life continue to captivate those who visit her resting place. If you enjoyed this content and you like grave finding and history, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to tune in next time as we honor another resting legend. I'm Erin Lee, reminding everyone to be kind and stay humble. Thanks for watching.